Hello, once again, welcome to another beautiful day as this. And of course, this is how I want to welcome you to TVM's Metro Sports. I am Fred O'Neill, your host on this particular program, where we bring you the latest as it relates to sporting activities across the globe. Today, we'll be looking at boxing, tennis, and definitely football, because it is still the international football window. That I think everything will be rounding off today and tomorrow. And we're still talking about the World Cup 2026 qualifiers in Europe as well. We will also talk about the aftermath of the exit, as it were, about the Nigerian men's senior national team that crashed out of the playoffs. And of course, we all know that DR Congo have taken that particular berth. All right, let's go into the business of the day. Let's start off with boxing, because Fabio Wardley has been upgraded to WBO heavyweight champion after Alexander Usyk opted to relinquish the title and, of course, his undisputed status rather than defend it against the unbeaten Wardley. Wardley wrested the interim title from Joseph Parker via a dramatic 11th round stoppage in October and was mandated to face Usyk before the end of September. But the WBO announced on Monday Usyk, who unified the world titles, by the way, by beating another Briton, the then IBF champion, talking about Daniel Dubois, in July, has formally relayed his decision to vacate the belt. And according to Usyk, after thoughtful consideration, now beating Dubois resulted in Usyk becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion for a second time, but he elected for his spell to be short-lived. And of course, the WBO later confirmed Wardley's elevation to full champion status. So that WBO seat has now been vacated by the former holder, as it were, Usyk, and now Wardley is in for it. And of course, we'll see what will happen next. As still talking about boxing, one man, Jake Paul, has confirmed his audacious fight against Anthony Joshua, AJ, in Miami on December 19. Now, the YouTuber turned boxer Paul will share the ring with former two-time unified world champion AJ in an 8-round sanctioned fight at the Kaseya Center in Florida. The fight will take place in the early hours of Saturday, December 20, and that is a UK time. And of course, Paul was due to face Gervonta Davis, but the fight was cancelled after a civil lawsuit was filed against the lightweight boxing champion. And now Joshua steps in as a formidable replacement opponent. For Joshua, he will be boxing for the first time since his knockout loss to the then IBF champion Daniel Dubois. Paul fought at heavyweight last November, and of course a points win over Mike Tyson, who came out of retirement for a high-profile showdown. For Paul, he has this 12-1 record, 12 wins, and of course 1 loss. He enters the Joshua fight following a career-best victory against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who is also a former world champion, and that happened by a unanimous decision win in June. For Joshua, he hasn't had a fight since a knockout loss to Daniel Dubois last September, and has twice become a world heavyweight champion during an impressive professional career that has featured 28 professional victories and of course 4 defeats. We're looking forward to that particular fight come next month. Hopefully, we want to see a pound-for-pound fight. And of course, this YouTuber would turn a boxer, talking about Paul, and of course we'll take on Joshua. Let's see if Joshua still has that power, to get back into boxing matters. All right, let's go now to tennis. Lando Norris has admitted he is not looking forward to the Las Vegas Grand Prix due to concerns about this is Formula One. McLaren could struggle again at the street circuit. This is Formula One. Norris has claimed successive victories in Mexico and Brazil to open a 24-point lead over his McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri at the top of the Drivers' Championship, but is far from confident going into the first of 3 back-to-back races to end the season. McLaren have struggled in the 2 previous races held at the Las Vegas Strip Circuit since it was added to the Formula One calendar in 2023, with Norris finishing 6th and of course Piastri 7th in 2024, despite having a car that will go on to win the Constructors' Championship. Now, McLaren have struggled, we all know that, to get their car working in temperatures that are far cooler than those at most other events on the calendar. So McLaren is very doubtful going into the next car race. And of course, the season for the Formula One is winding down very fast. Let's see how that one would actually pan out. And now, yes, to tennis. A minor injury has forced Emma Raducanu to withdraw from 2 exhibition events in America. It's coming up. The British #1 has light bone bruising in her right foot, but she is able to practice and is soon expecting to travel to Barcelona for a pre-season training block, as coach Francisco Roig is to make sure that she is in the best condition for what is expected to be another season of progression. The 23-year-old Raducanu has spent part of this month training at the National Tennis Centre in London and will now be able to focus entirely on the overseas camp. Well, not having to play 2 exhibition matches nearly a month before the start of the new season is a way of reducing the load on her foot. She's preparing to represent Great Britain alongside Jack Draper at the United Cup in the first week of the new year 2026. Great Britain will play Japan and Greece in the group stage in Perth, which means Raducanu will look forward to a singles meeting with a fellow Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. As the current world number 29, Raducanu is in line to be seeded for the Australian Open, which actually begins in Melbourne on 18 January. The 2021 US Open champion withdrew from her final 2 events this season because of illness, but was still able to record a career-high 28 tour-level victories. Meanwhile, the world number 6, Jessica Pegula, will replace Raducanu in the exhibition matches in Newark and Miami on 7 and 8 December. For the men's number 1, Carlos Alcaraz is also appearing and will take on American Francis Tiafoe and 19-year-old Brazilian João Fonseca over the 2 nights. And let's cross over to footballing matters now. This one from the African region. It is the Confederation de Africaine de Football, where you call CAF, the Confederation of Africa, officially unveiled the top 3 nominees in each of the men's categories of the highly anticipated CAF Awards 2025. The prestigious event will be held in Rabat, Morocco on 19 November 2025 from 6 p.m., celebrating the exceptional performances and achievements that have defined African football this year. Leading the charge for the Player of the Year top prize are Mohamed Salah, who plays for Liverpool, and of course from Egypt. Achraf Hakimi plays for Paris Saint-Germain in France. He is from Morocco. And of course, Galatasaray own Victor Osimhen from Nigeria. 3 of the continent's brightest stars who have showcased their talents at the highest level. Now, other categories announced include Goalkeeper of the Year, Interclub Player of the Year. Let's look at the Coach of the Year, for instance, where we have a very good, coaches right there. I'm still trying to get the names of, we have African Player of the Year. Definitely, we've talked about that as well. But let's look at other categories. I want us to look at the Coach of the Year, yes, which is on our screen right now. The Coach of the Year award. We'll be looking at who will be taking that particular sport. Let's go to the Young Player of the Year award, and of course National Team of the Year will also be there. A total of 7 categories have been confirmed. For the National Team of the Year finalists, we have Ghana, Morocco and Nigeria. Yeah, and of course for Ghana, they have qualified for this next year's World Cup, and of course Morocco, but Nigeria are out. Well, Like I said, a total of 7 categories have been confirmed by CAF in the men's category of awards, shortlisting the 3 top performing players, coaches, and of course teams in each of the categories. The CAF Awards 2025 recognize outstanding contributions across both club and national competitions over the period 6 January and 18 October. If we can have more of the slides of the finalists, let's look at the Interclub Player of the Year finalists. We have Fiston Mayele, of course, Mohamed Chibi, and we also have Lamlui right there in that particular category. If we can get others, I'm still trying to get my, okay, I think I have mine now. The goalkeeper of the year, we have Mamedi. He's from Morocco. He plays for RS Bakane. Yassine Bono, also from Morocco. He plays his club football with Club Al Hilal. And of course, a South African goalkeeper, national team goalkeeper. He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. He is Ronwe Williams. And of course, the coach of the year, earlier on we showed you the clip for that, the clip, I beg your pardon, for that particular one. The 3 coaches, the 3 coaches of that are in the final list right there, the top 3 coaches. Bobista, he is from Cape Verde. Yes, he has taken Cape Verde to their first World Cup appearance. Yes, so he is noted in that particular one. And of course, Morocco under 20 coach Mohamed Kouabi, who led the under 20 young Moroccans to conquer the under 20 World Cup not too long ago. And of course, the Morocco national team coach, senior national team coach, talking about Walid Regragui, who also qualified Morocco for the World Cup in US, Canada, and Mexico. Yes, young player of the year. We can look at that particular one. From Ajax, also, he plays for Ajax. He is from Morocco. His name is Abdellah Ozane. And then, of course, another man from Morocco plays his club football with Watford in England. He is Othman Mahama. Yes, and then from South Africa, the South African that plays his football with Queen's Park Rangers in England, his name is Tylon Smith. These are the nominees for the Young Player of the Year. And then for National Team of the Year, we have Cape Verde, Morocco, and of course the Morocco under 20 team. And you look at these teams that have qualified for these top 3 teams, and of course one will have to be the winner. You want to say, yes, they have achieved momentum, I mean, good stride, a major stride in their football. Cape Verde appearing in the World Cup for the first time in their history. Morocco under 20 winning the under 20 World Cup for them for the first time in their history, and of course Morocco qualifying for the World Cup. And then Club of the Year for the men's category, we have Pyramids, and of course RS Bakane, and then Mamelodi Sundowns. These are the awards nominations, I beg your pardon, for the CAF Awards. Let's cross over to the women's category, where we have very interesting categories there. Definitely Nigeria will have to be in this particular neck of the wood. Let's start off with the CAF Awards for Best African Player of the Year, female, if we can. If it's on the screen, okay. Maybe we have to look at that particular one much later if we can, but I'm getting reactions from my producers there that that clip is not forthcoming. Is all right. Let me quickly read them out. For Women's Player of the Year, we have Ghislaine Chebak from Morocco. He plays his club football at Al Hilal. And then Sana Msoudi, she is also from Morocco. She plays her club football in with AS FAR, and of course the Nigerian who plays her football with Paris Saint-Germain in France, Rasheedat Ajibade. For the women's goalkeeper of the year, we have Khadija El Mishi. She is from Morocco. She plays for AS FAR. And of course, we have Chamaka Nadozie from Nigeria, who mount the post for Brighton over Beyond in England. And Dil Lamani, she is from South Africa, and she is between the sticks for Mamelodi Sundowns. And then the women's coach of the year, we have, due to the ongoing CAF Women's Champions League in Egypt that is ongoing, the winner will definitely be revealed. So we'll watch out for that space. Now, the women's young player of the year, yes, we have Doha El Madani. She is from Morocco. She plies a trade with AS FAR. And then Aji Ndiaye, she's a Senegalese. She plies a trade also with AS Bambe. And then the Nigerian Shakirat Bidemi Moshood, who plays for Bayelsa Queens here in Nigeria. And then women's team of the year, we have Ghana, Morocco, and Nigeria. Remember that Nigeria are the defending champions of the WAFCON, that is the Women's African Cup of Nations. And then Ghana, and then we have Morocco. So these are the national team of the year finalists for the women as well. So for women's player of the year, this cannot be said now, because of the ongoing CAF Women's Champions League in Egypt. So also with the women's club of the year, because of the CAF Women's Champions League ongoing. So these are the nominations or the nominees for the awards that will be coming up on the 19th of November. Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the 2025 FIFA World Cup, the Nigerian Football Federation, the NFF, has apologized to President Bola Tinubu, the federal government, and Nigerians. In the game on Sunday, Nigeria took an early lead in the 3rd minute through a deflected strike from Frank Onyeka before Meshak Elia drew DR Congo level later in the first half. With no further goals in regulation time or extra time, the match ended 1-1 after 120 minutes. The Congolese side eventually won on penalties to progress to the final stage of the qualifying playoffs. The loss means Nigeria have now missed back-to-back World Cup tournaments for the first time since their debut appearance in 1994. Now, in a statement on Monday, the NFF stated that the loss represents a sad moment for Nigerian football. And this is what the statement reads. The Nigerian Football Federation wishes to openly and sincerely apologize to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to the federal government as a whole, and to millions of Nigerians, most especially our passionate, loyal football fans, following the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup finals. Sunday's loss to DR Congo in the Africa Playoff final in Rabat remains a moment of profound sadness for Nigerian football. For a nation where the Super Eagles serve as a symbol of unity, hope, and collective pride, missing out on the World Cup for a second consecutive time is a disappointment of great weight and emotional depth. The NFF, the technical crew, and the players understand the gravity of this moment. We understand the expectations Nigerians rightly hold, and we recognize that our collective effort did not deliver the outcome this nation deserved. In the dressing room after the match, the pain among the players was palpable. Many struggled to speak, end quote. Now, additionally, the NFF conveyed gratitude for the assistance it received during the protracted qualifying process. The body points out that football continues to be a unifying factor in the nation, which makes both players and fans more disappointed. They also stated, as we look forward, our immediate attention comes to the African nations. That has always defined Nigerian football. We will evaluate the technical, administrative, and structural gaps that led to this outcome. and we will take this decisive to reposition our national team. Were the statements that came from the NFF, the Nigerian Football Federation, making an apology to Nigerians and of course to the president of the country. Now, that was a reaction, or this is a reaction to what the president said after the Eagles were knocked out, in fact, when they were defeated on Sunday. The president came up to say that the Super Eagles should forget about the loss of not going to the World Cup, but should now concentrate on the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, just about to kick off next month. And the NFF had to react and respond to the president on that, apologizing for the things that happened behind the scene and all whatnot. Well, I'm not going to dwell on that now. We will go for a quick break now. When we return, we will take a look at what happened, in fact, what happened last night in the qualifying series in Europe. We'll talk about how some teams have also qualified for the Mondial next year. Stay with us.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +4807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services. Anticipate, manage, deliver.
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord right now, everybody.
Festival of Champions. Area. It don't happen again, no. Join the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, Delta Province 20, Champions Cathedral Family for the 8th edition of Festival of Champions. Theme, Joyful Noise. This Obonga events go happen from Wednesday 19th to Friday 21st November 2025. Ministering, Pastor J.F. Odeshola, Pastor Keke Ndukwe, Pastor Olufemi Olumide, Apostle Michael Oroko, Pastor Isaac Oyedeko, and other anointed ministers of God. Hosts, Pastor Emmanuel Efe, Emefienem, ministering in songs, Bob Fitz, Phil Thompson, Michael Stampley, Nathaniel Bassi, Dosin Onyeko, Chema Jesus, Mercy Chinwo, PJ Sachs, Bukola Beggs, Mr. Aaron Revelation, Moses Blaze, Lillian Neji, Pidemi Olauba, Adenka Laishori, Prince Emmanuel, Simisola Okeleye, Abe Ojomo, Greatman Take, Gaise Baba, and the Champions Voices. On Wednesday 19th, go reach Thursday 20th November. The program will happen for Champions Cathedral Main Auditorium, 16 to 18 Airport Road. Time, 4 p.m. daily. While on Friday 21st November, now the Grand Festival of Praise Service for Urubu College Open Field. Time, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Jesus na Baba.
All right, welcome back from that short break. And before we went on the break, I told you that to nothing in their final qualifier, of course, defeating them into carrying them and pummeling them into submission with 4 goals in the first half and sending their opponents into a playoff match. Now, the 4-time world champions finished top of the group, 3 points clear of Slovakia, and unmarked Nick Votamada headed Germany into the lead in the 18th minute with his 4th goal in his last 3 international matches. Serge Gnabry lashed on to a perfect Leon Goretzka pass to make it 2-0. Florian Wirtz put Leroy Sané through to call his short pass Martin Dubravka and of course put the game to bed before Wirtz delivered another assist for the winger to score his 2nd goal of the evening 5 minutes later. For Slovakia, who had beaten Germany in Bratislava in September, had no answer to the host's relentless pressure. The Netherlands, on the other hand, secured their ticket at the finals with an easy 4-0 home win against Lithuania, finishing top of G. The result ensured the campaign 3 points clear of second-placed Poland. Tijani Reinders put the Netherlands ahead at first half before the host scored a rapid trial of goals in the second period from Godi Kakbo, Xavi Simons, and of course Donjan Malen. Piotr Zelensky struck late to end Poland a 3-2 win away in Malta for Poland to actually secure a spot in next year's playoffs. Robert Lewandowski opened the scoring before Evan Cardona, equalized. But then Paweł Zulek swept Poland ahead again before the penalty made it 2-2. Jamie Donnelly's first international goal saw Northern Ireland end their Group A campaign with a drab 1-0 win over Luxembourg at a subdued Windsor. Sent Anthony Morris the wrong way from the penalty spot in the 44th minute after Christopher Martins fouled Ciaran Brown in the box, which was all it took to settle a disappointing game. Northern Ireland had hoped this would be the ninth. They secured second place in the group, but then the 1-0 defeat they suffered in the hands of Slovakia on Friday left this as a dead rubber, albeit with a playoff place in March to look forward to due to their Nations League group win last year. For Czech Republic, who were already assured of a playoff spot, dismantled Gibraltar 6-0. The hosts managed 5 first-half goals, with David Dodera scoring in the 5th minute. Thomas Curry, Vladimir Kofal, Adam Karabek, and of course the captain Thomas Sošek also netted in a dominant opening period. Robin Hranak bundled in a corner minutes after the restart to round off the scoring. For the Czechs, they had locked up second place even before the match, and of course they finished on 16 points behind Croatia, who recovered from 2 goals down to beat Montenegro 3-2. If we can have the results on the screen, these are some of the results of the game we saw last night. Yes, for Germany, like we said earlier on, the defeated by 6-0. You can see Walter Maria opening the scoring in the 18th minute, Serge Gnabry on the 29th minute, and of course a brace for Leroy Sané, Baku on the 67th minute, and of course Drago on the 79th minute. And of course Northern Ireland, like we said, defeated Luxembourg by a lone goal via a penalty, and this one was all the results coming in from Group A. Let's go to another fixture and of course results also last night. Malta, like we said earlier on, lost at home against Poland. Robert Lewandowski, not slowing down even with age on his side, opened the scoring, and of course we had an equalizer from Malta on the 36th minute, but that game ended 3-2 in favor of Poland. And then the Netherlands, they needed just a draw to secure a berth, a place for the World Cup next year, but they did it in style in front of the home crowd, defeating Lithuania by 4-0. One man that is happy that he scored for his side is the Nigerian who plays for the Netherlands, talking about Tijani Reinders. He opened his score in the 16th minute, and then Cody Gakpo of Liverpool scored the second via penalty, and 2 minutes later it was Xavi Simons making it 3-0, and then 2 minutes also later Malen made it 4-0. So congratulations to the Netherlands. They have booked their spot for the Mondial next year. All right, if we can have the fixtures for today. If we have the fixtures for today, okay, and Group L, we still have results coming in. Czech Republic defeated Gibraltar, like we said, 6-0, and Montenegro lost at home to Croatia, who, by the way, have already qualified for the World Cup. Talking about Croatia, another old man. I think this should be his last appearance for his national side. Ivan Perisic scored by penalty, and Kaki scored not taking the fact away from Montenegro, who actually led that game 2-0 before Croatia crawled their way back into the game. Of course, Vlasic scoring the winner in the 87th minute, and all these results coming in Group L. Okay, so if we do not have other results, let's go. Okay, let's go to today's fixture, and this is the European qualifiers for the World Cup, as it were. From Group B, we see Kosovo taking on Switzerland, and that game coming up. All the games will be coming up at 7:45 p.m. local time. Sweden will host Slovenia. That's for Group B. And again, Group C, Belarus will take on Greece, while Scotland will host Denmark. And in Group E, we have Bulgaria playing against Georgia, and then Spain will take on Turkey. So these are games coming up in Group E. All right, in Group H, we have Austria will host Bosnia and Herzegovina, while Romania will take on San Marino. That's for Group H. And in Group J, we have Belgium will host Liechtenstein, while Wales will take on North Macedonia. Yeah, these are the games for today, and of course for Group J. All right, still talking about the World Cup qualifier. The World Cup 2026 qualifying is still in full swing. Like we told you, games will be going down later today. And of course, several teams, including England, and of course, the defending champions of the World Cup, talking about Argentina, have already booked their place at the Mundial. If we can go back to our script. And of course, yes, so these are the teams that have qualified for the World Cup, as it were, the host nations, because we have 3 nations hosting the World Cup. Yeah, hosting the World Cup. Like I said, England and Argentina have already qualified, booked their place at the expanded tournament. Now, the 2026 World Cup, we all know, takes place across 3 host nations: the USA, Canada, and Mexico. 19. It will, be taking place in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, like we said, and it is going to be from June 11 to July 19. It will be the biggest yet. With 48 nations taking part. Yeah, that's 16 more than what we saw in Qatar 2022. Now, the 3 host nations qualify automatically, while nations from the confederations of UEFA, which is Europe, which is from South America, CONCACAF, that's North and Central America and the Caribbean, AFC, which is Asia, OFC, which is from the Oceania, and then CAF, which is Africa, staged their own qualifying campaigns, which we saw. Now, UEFA is guaranteed, that's Europe now, 16 slots at the tournament. 12 group winners will progress directly from the qualifying stage, and then 16 teams, 12 group runners-up, and then 4 further teams based on their Nations League ranking will enter 4 playoff paths, with each providing a further spot at the finals. Now, outside of Europe, CAF gets 9 spots at the World Cup, and the AFC has 8. There will be a minimum of 6 each from CONBOL and, of course, CONCACAF, while OFC, which is Oceania, has 1 guaranteed spot. So, final spots will be filled through an inter-confederation playoff. A tournament involving 6 teams will take place in March 2026. 1 team per confederation apart from UEFA, which is Europe, plus 1 additional team from the confederation of the host countries. So these are how the things will pan out. So let's go back to our clip of the nations that have qualified so far. Yes, nations that have qualified, and the ones that are yet to be qualified will be determined later today. But like I said earlier on, the host nations for the 2026 World Cup, there are 3. United States, Canada, and Mexico, and they qualify automatically because they are host nations. Now, we want to go down, we want to break it down, because we told you the different regions, different continents of the world with their qualified teams. We'll start from Asia. First off, Japan was the first team to qualify, by the way, apart from the host nations, the first team to qualify for the World Cup was Japan. We have from Asia, Japan, Australia, Iran, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, and Uzbekistan. These are the teams from Asia. Let's go to the next. For the Oceania, yes, we have just New Zealand because it's just one. Yeah. So for South America, we have the defending champions, Argentina, and then Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Uruguay. These are the nations that have qualified from South America. South America is done and dusted for the qualifiers. Let's go to the next continent or region. This is Africa, which is the Confederation of African Football Teams. Algeria, Cape Verde, the first time appearing in the World Cup. Egypt, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. So these are the teams from Africa that will be representing Africa in the World Cup next year. And not last, we'll also look at other teams that will qualify from Europe, because that's why I said it's not concluded yet for Europe, which is UEFA. We have Croatia, England, France, Germany. These were the two entrants this window. I'm talking about Germany, Netherlands, Norway, and Portugal. These four countries got themselves into the World Cup, this international window, as it were, and good luck to these particular countries. More countries will be unveiled. I think Spain is there, one of the nations that want to avoid going for the playoffs. So we have playoffs for the European sports, but for the Inter-Confederation Cup, Confederations slot, we have 3 countries so far. What's it called again? There's a name. I can't even remember that name now. New Caledonia. Yeah, New Caledonia, the RO Congo, that is Democratic Republic of Congo, and of course Bolivia. These are the 3 countries confirmed for the Inter-Confederations Cup. There are other 3 countries that would be joining them for the Inter-Confederations Cup. I don't know why I keep calling it Cup. Playoffs. And of course, from that playoffs, we'll have 2 tickets available for the World Cup, as it were. So these are just the analysis of what we'll be seeing in the World Cup next year. But so far, like I said, some other teams would be confirmed their places for the World Cup later today. I think one of them, if I can remember very well, will be Spain. All right. Now, before we call it a wrap for today, we just want to talk a little about the aftermath of what happened, to the Super Eagles of Nigeria when they played against the Democratic Republic of Congo on Sunday. Not a good result. Sad for Nigerians. Like the NFF have spoken up. They apologized to Nigerians. I don't know why they're doing that. They didn't say much. Maybe they just want to keep our nerves calm, and by saying that we should all concentrate on the next big occasion when it comes to football in Africa, talking about the AFCON. I think they are taking a cue from the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he said, forget about the playoffs, forget about going to the World Cup, concentrate on winning the AFCON. But the question is, if these players, if this team wins the AFCON, where would you rate them? Remember, was it last year in Ivory Coast, they got to the finals, met the Ivory Coast, and they lost narrowly 2-1 to the host nation. Most of these players that executed the World Cup qualifiers were also in that particular team. So, would you say that if they win the Nations Cup come the next edition, which is just around the corner, would you say that it will be a big plus for them, or a big miss for them not going to the World Cup? Remember that most of them would not be in the Mondial. In fact, would not be ready for 2030 if Nigeria even qualifies, if at all we qualifies for the next World Cup, which will be in 2030. Like I said, I don't really want to dwell on what has happened. I only said a few weeks ago, when we're still in the group stage, that if Nigeria do not win Benin Republic, then I will be very, very mad at the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Nigerian Football Federation. But they got the job done. Too late. South Africa took the ticket because they won on that day. And going into the playoffs, all my hopes and expectations, I had to bring them down. Because anything, like we used to say in football, anything can happen. And that's exactly what we've seen. Nobody saw this coming. Most Super Eagles fans never saw this coming, that Nigeria will bow to the Democratic Republic of Congo when it comes to football. Not only when it comes to football, but when it mattered most to pick a ticket to the Inter-Confederations playoffs. Now, Nigeria would have been in a pole position, in a better position going into that particular Inter-Confederations playoffs if we had picked the ticket against DR Congo, because Nigeria would have been one of the highly ranked team going into that playoffs. And Nigeria would have just been one match away from picking a ticket to the World Cup. But as it is DR Congo, they will be the one to go through the qualifying series. They'll play the semi-finals and then see how they will get to the final. I wish them all the luck. From what they showed against Cameroon and then showed against Nigeria, I think they can go all the way to pick one of the 2 tickets for the Mondial 2026. Well, that's all I have for you for today on the program TVM's Metro Sports. I am Fred O'Neill. You can also watch us on the go on TVM's app, accessible on Android Play Store and Apple Store. You can follow us and interact with our social media pages, like you can subscribe, you can like and share. You can see the information on the screen right now. And of course, you can follow us via our WhatsApp, and you can call as well to let us get a feedback on how wherever you're getting us. Right, so this one, John Cuttings. I want to say thank you for being part of the show. Stay blessed.
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord right now, everybody.
Festival of Champions. It is here again. The most anticipated praise event in the Christian community returns bigger, louder, and more joyful than ever. Hosted by the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Delta Province 20, Champions Cathedral family. This is the 8th edition.
With the powerful theme, Joyful Noise.
From Wednesday 19th to Friday 21st November 2025. Get yourself ready for 3 unforgettable days of praise, worship, and divine encounter.
Ministering Pastor J.F. Odeshola, Pastor K.K. Ndukwe, Pastor Olufemi Olumide, Apostle Michael Oropo, Pastor Isaac Oyedepo, and all the anointed ministers of God. Hosts, Pastor Emmanuel Emefenem. Music ministration by Bob Fitz, Phil Thompson, Michael Stampley, Nathaniel Bassi, Dusin Onyekon, Chioma Jesus, Mercy Chimbo, BJ Sass, Bukola Beck, Mr. M and Revelation, Moses Bliss, Lillian Neji, Bidemi Olaoba, Adenka Alashayori, Prince Emmanuel, Sumitola Okele, Abe Ojomo, Great Man Taket, Gaise Baba, and the Champions Voices.
Venue, November 19th and 20th, Champions Cathedral Auditorium, 16 to
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TV.